Welcome our dear student of third prep in a new episode of مدرسة على الهواء. Today inshallah we are going to make a general revision on all what we have studied in this term. And we are going to discuss the different types of question together, and we are going to answer some problem together, okay, and we are going to deal with different type of question. Starting with the first type in this episode is scientific term. Okay, let's see together. Okay, number one, write the scientific term. It is the breaking up of coherence or the bond in molecules of the reactant and the formation of new coherence or new bond in the molecule. Okay, so in this type we ask the scientific term, and we can reverse the question and become a defined chemical reaction. So what's meant by chemical reaction? It is the breaking bond of the reactant forming a new bond of the product. This is what's meant by chemical reaction, so it can have this question as define chemical reaction. Or we are going to give you the definition itself and you are going to write the chemical reaction is the answer. Okay? The other scientific term, or the scientific term number two, reaction in which the compound is break up by heat into simpler substance. Reaction in which the compound is broken up by heat into simpler substance, and this is, we call it what? Thermal decomposition reaction. But let's revise the type of chemical reaction what we have taken. First, as we see in the first scientific term, chemical reaction, breaking the bond of the reactant, forming a new bond of the product. In this term, we have studied three types of chemical reaction. The first type is thermal decomposition, and this is required heat to decompose the compound into simpler element or simpler components. The third type, which we call it substitution reaction, and we have two types of substitution. Simple substitution, in this metal replace another according chemical activity series, and the second type of substitution we call it double substitution, exchanging of the ion. The third type of chemical reaction we explain it in this term is oxidation reduction reaction, and in this type we can answer by using increasing or decreasing hydrogen percent and oxygen, or by gaining or losing electron. The three types we deal in this term: number one, thermal decomposition; number two, substitution; and number three, oxidation reduction reaction. Okay, let's see another scientific term. Chemical process causes increase of oxygen percent during chemical reaction, or we can ask in another method, chemical process in which atom lose one electron or more during chemical reaction. First, you have to read the scientific term carefully, and we see that he needs a process, not the agent, because most of the student mix up between the process or the agent. He needs oxidizing agent or oxidation process. He needs reducing agent or reducing. So you are going to focus on what? On the first word in the scientific term, which is process. So he needs the process. As we said, that oxidation reduction, we can determine it by the percent of oxygen and hydrogen or by the electrons. In this one, both answer will be this question and this question have the same answer, which is oxidation process. Okay, so it is increasing oxygen percent, or decreasing hydrogen percent, or losing an electron or more. But if we reverse the question and I need the agent, the process opposite to the agent, so it will be the reducing agent. It is the agent or the factor which lose an electron or more. Okay, the third one or the fourth scientific term we have in this episode is substance which change the speed of chemical reaction without sharing in it or being used. I can also ask this question by the substance that doesn't help in the beginning or the ending of chemical reaction, or it doesn't change in its mass. This is all the property of this substance. We all know now what this substance is catalyst. Okay, now the scientific term is the definition. I can ask what's meant by catalyst: the substance which never used up. This is the property of the catalyst: never used up. It doesn't involve in the chemical reaction. It doesn't help in the beginning or ending the reaction. I have two types of catalyst: the catalyst which we call it positive catalyst, which speed up the chemical reaction or increasing the rate of chemical reaction, and the other one is the negative catalyst, which decreases the speed of chemical reaction. But now we have another word: speed of chemical reaction. What's meant by speed of chemical reaction? As we see, as the time passes, the concentration of both reactant and product increase or change. Speed of chemical reaction means the change in the concentration of both reactant and product. But the most question in this is, at the beginning we have what? We have zero product and 100% reactant. But at the end we have 0% reactant and 100% product. So be careful and read carefully the question. He asked about the beginning or the end, because they are opposite. Again, at the beginning 100% reactant, there is no reaction, so I have 100% and zero product. But when the reaction completed, all the product changed to all the reactant changed to product and become 100% product and 0% reactant. Okay, let's see the scientific term number 5. The electric current intensity passing through a conductor directly proportional with the potential difference between its end when the temperature is constant. Again, so this is a relation between what? Between current intensity and the potential difference, which is I and V. Okay, and from this we have a law called what? Called Ohm's law. So the answer will be Ohm's law. Ohm's law, the states of Ohm's law: current intensity direct proportional with the potential difference at the constant temperature. Okay, now we are going to have some comparison in our syllabus, which is domain character and recessive character, the hereditary and the acquired trait. Okay, in the last episode we make some important comparison, like the difference between ammeter and voltmeter, the difference between alternating and direct current. They are the most important comparison in our syllabus. Now this episode we are going to complete the main comparison in the term, which is the acquired trait and the inherited trait. What's the difference between them, and also the comparison between the domain character and the recessive character. Starting by the domain character and the recessive character, who differentiate between them? Mendel. Okay, he show that the domain character appear in the first generation by 100%, and in the second generation by ratio 3:1. This is the domain character. But what about the recessive character? It is the character that disappear completely in the first generation and appears by ratio 1:3 in the second generation. But when we deal with the gene of the domain character, it may be pure or hybrid. In the problem we can write T capital or T capital T small. T capital, both of them are similar, so it is pure. Or T capital T small, they are different, also they are from the domain trait. But what about the recessive? The recessive appears only when it is pure. It must be two small letters together, T small and T small. So again, summing of the comparison between them, the domain character appears 100% in the first generation, and with ratio 3:1 in the second generation. It may be pure or hybrid. the recessive character disappear completely in the first generation and appear with ratio 3 to 1 هي ال 1% or 25% to 75 in the second generation and it is always pure. طيب, this is the first comparison. طيب, what about the second comparison, which is what? The difference between acquired trait and inherited trait. طيب, as we see that the trait which is inherited, this is passes through generation. I inherited from my father and my father inherited it from his grandfather. So it is the trait that transmitted from one generation to another. The grandfather to the sons will sons to the grandchildren. So it is the trait that transmitted through generation. But what about the acquired trait? It is that not transmitted from the generation. Okay, we have a good football player. This is acquired. He trained too much to be a good player, so he cannot transmit this talent for his son. Example from the inherited trait: I inherit my blood group from my parent. I inherit the color of the hair from my parent, but I didn't inherit the writing, the talent of music, the talent of drawing from my parents, so it is acquired trait. Okay, let's see together the question. This is the comparison number 1, dominant character and recessive character. As we see, it appear if the gene pure or hybrid. As we explained, pure, the two letters are similar, or hybrid, one capital letter and the other small letter. It appears with ratio 100%, yani all the offspring is the domain character, and 75% in the secondary generation, or ratio, as we said, 3 to 1, or third of the second generation. The recessive character, it appears if the gene pure only. Both of them must be small letter. It disappear in the first generation and appear with ratio 25% in the second generation. This is the first comparison. The second one, hereditary trait and acquired trait. As we explained, the trait transmitted from one generation to another, from the grandfather to his son and from the son to his grandchildren. Example, color of the hair, inherited. Skin color, inherited. Number of period and the blood group. All of this, your hair color, your skin color, your blood group, you inherited from your parents. What about the acquired trait? They aren't or not transmitted from one generation to another, like walking, playing football, writing, singing. You have a nice, a good voice, but you are not inherit it from your parents. Okay, this is the comparison of today. We have now the problems of Mendel's first and second law. This is one, we call it from the first law. Okay, let's read it together. In a bee plant, what are the result of pollination of tall hybrid plant with short stem by using the simple T capital T small, showing parents, gamete and offspring. Again, read it carefully. Okay, he pollinate tall hybrid with a short stem. Type. One will ask, tall hybrid, so I'm going to have the gene T capital T small because they are hybrid. Type. What about the short? We study that the short stem in the bee plant is domain or recessive. It is recessive. And as we said now, that all the recessive must be pure form, so it must be T small and T small. Type. He needs the parent, the gamete and the offspring. Okay, let's solve this problem together. Okay, number 1, okay, we have tall hybrid, so the gene will be T capital T small, with short, and the short is the recessive, so it must be too short. Okay, this is, we call it a parent. Okay, you have to check what he needs. This is the parent. This is the need 1. Okay. The second, he needs the gamete. Okay, divided the gamete. T capital in a circle and T small. This is the gamete of the first parent. Then we have the second one, T small and T small. This is the second question he needs, the gamete. Okay, let's cross it together, okay, to produce the offspring. The gamete number 1 with this will form T capital, T small. And the first with the second, T capital, T small. The second gamete with the first of the second, T small, T small, T small, T small. Let's see the ratio and what the offspring. This is the offspring or the generation. Okay, this plant will be tall hybrid, short, so the percent will be 50% tall to 50% short. Okay, يبقى again in this problem he mentioned that the one of the parent is tall hybrid, so I add one capital letter and one small letter because it is hybrid, not similar. And the other parent was short. We know that the short is a recessive character, so it must be in a pure form, T capital and T small and T small. Okay, this is the parent. This is the answer of number 1. Then gamete. Okay, divide the parent, T capital, T small. This is the first parent. The second parent, T small and T small. This is the gamete. Now crossing to form the offspring. So we have T capital, T small, and this plant is tall. T capital, T small. This is also tall hybrid, and this is short with the ratio 50% to 50% tall and short, and this is the answer of this question. Okay, don't mix up and read carefully. He needs 3 parents, gamete, offspring. Parents, gamete, offspring. Okay? And don't forget to write the ratio and the trait that appear in the offspring, tall and short and whatever. Okay? Now we are going to have the next question. Okay? If you have 4 dry cell, it's not common to have 4 dry cell, but I choose this question so you can think together with it. I have 4 try question. Of each of the first and the second 1.5. So all of the 4 is not similar. يبقى be careful. I have 2 1.5. The third 2 volt and the fourth is the 3 volt. Explain by drawing how to obtain a new battery of EMF equals to 8 volt and 6.5 volt. يبقى again read carefully the problem. How many cells we are going to use? 4, and you must use all of the 4. Are they similar? No, they are not similar. Again, read carefully. First and the second. So I have 2 dry cells from the 4 equal 1.5. The third one is 2 volt and 1 is 2 volt. And the fourth one is 3. يبقى الكونكلوجن عندي ايه؟ 4 dry cell, 2 1.5 و1 2 volt و1 3 volt. Explain by drawing how to connect the battery in EMF equals to 8 volt and 6.5 volt. So I have 2 answers, question number A and question number B. Most of us answer question number A and forget to answer number B. You have to answer all the question. Okay, let's draw it together or answer it together. Okay, first, how many cells I have? I have 4 cells. Are they equal? No. I have 2 cells 1.5 volt, 1 cell equal 2 volt and 1 cell equal 3 volt. هعمل لي collection. طيب question number A, he wants a connection for 8 volt and want a draw for a connection with 6.5 volt. طيب I only have 2 types of connection, connecting in series and connection in parallel. In the connection of series, we to obtain the EMF, we collect the sum of them, and the connection in parallel, we only calculate one. But this is number A. Answer of number A, 8 volts. Okay, let's do it together. 1.5 times 2, 1.5 and 1.5, 3. 3, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are going to connect in series. Okay, this is the first one, and this is the second one, and number 4 and number 5. This is the answer? No, it's not the answer. You have to write the number of volt over each one of them. This is 1.5 and this is 1.5. The third one, as he told me, 2 volt, and the fourth one 3 volt. So the EMF will be equal 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 2 plus 3 equal 8 volt. This is the answer of number A. The answer of number B, he needs to draw the connection to obtain 6.5. يبقى number B 6.5 volt. Let's see together. In order to obtain 6.5, so I have to decrease the both. يعني السيريس gives me 8. 6.5 less than 8. So I'm going to make what? I cannot make 2 with 3 parallel to each other because they are different cell. 2 and 3 are different cell. So I'm going to connect what? I have 2 similar cell اللي هما 1.5. So I'm going to connect them in parallel. So in parallel we are going to have, this is the first one and this is the second one. Okay? Both of them is equal to 1.5. يبقى total of both 1.5, not 3. Then the other cell, the second one will be 2 and the third one will be number. So right here 2 volt and 3 volt. So the EMF equal, adding the total of this is the positive side and this is the negative side, 1.5, because the connection in parallel count only one cell whatever the number, plus 2 plus 3, so it will be 6.5 volt. And this is the answer of number B. Okay, this is a very good question or problem because you are going to think and you are going to use both methods, series and parallel connection, in order to that, and it is not as you problem you answered before that all of them are similar in the volt. No, you may have different types of volt, like this problem 1.5 with 2 volt with 3 volt. I have 3 types of volt. Okay, يبقى again the problem we have to deal with, that you have to concentrate that you have different types of battery in this problem, which number 1 is 3 volt and number 2 is 2 volt, and we have to 1.5 volt together. Okay, now in this curriculum or in this episode we explain together or we answer some of the important comparison, which is the dominant trait and the recessive trait and the inherited and the acquired trait. We also answer some scientific term and a problem in the Mendel first law and a problem in the connection of series and parallel, and in the previous lesson or the previous episode we answered by using the 3 rules of the electricity together. Okay, please read carefully the problem or the question, take your time, don't be in a hurry, so you can understand the question well and answer, and read it for the end and write all the answer till the end. As we see, he needs letter A, question A and B. Most of you forget to write answer A and without writing the question or the answer of question B. Okay, now we reach the end of our episode. Until we meet next week, thanks for your watching and good luck in your exams.